All right, everybody, thank you for joining us for the Monday edition of our routine weekly briefing. This is Dan at the National Weather Service office in Raleigh. We'll be talking about the weather over the next week, May 17 to May 23. As you'll see here in the briefing, by and large, not a terribly busy week. Certainly not as busy as some of the other weeks we've had. But still, fair amount of stuff to talk about. As we, start off looking at the upcoming weather pattern for basically the whole next week. We had a few showers this morning across portions of central North Carolina. A few spots had a little bit of rain, a few sprinkles. A lot of that has since dried up. But we are expecting a little bit of that to return later this afternoon and again tomorrow. Now, this is hardly going to be a washout. This is going to be very hit or miss showers. I can't rule out a stray rumble of thunder, but that would be mainly out toward the Triad and the Northwest Piedmont, those areas out there. Really, elsewhere, it's going to be more dry than not. And whatever type of showers that we see during the day today, we should see even less on Tuesday. So, we've been pretty dry here as of late. And whatever little bit of rain that we do see today or tomorrow isn't really going to add up to much. So it's hardly going to be a washout. By the time we get to Wednesday, it's going to start to turn warmer and drier. And then certainly by the time we get to the weekend into early next week, we'll be looking at well above normal temperatures into early next week with 90s for highs and even mid 90s in parts of the area. And this will easily be the warmest stretch that we've seen so far this year. Let's stick in the near term here, though, for a few minutes. Let's talk about today and Tuesday, and you look at the maps here for accumulated rainfall. You'll see some very low-end amounts on there. I mean, that shade of green that you see is the lightest color you could possibly get. Like I said, whatever we get is going to be real hit or miss, and you don't see much in the way of accumulations today or Tuesday. But then when you look at Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, this weekend, just white across the board. No chance of precip at all. In our 7-day totals, if you're looking for rain for your backyard, good luck. It's just not looking good. Consequently, it should be no surprise we're not expecting any flash flooding across our neck of the woods. The main concerns will be, across the southern plains and portions of Texas where they'll be dealing with some pretty active weather. But nothing across our neck of the woods, and not surprisingly, we're not expecting anything in the way of severe weather either. I mentioned that stray rumble of thunder that we might see across the Northwest Piedmont. Gosh, that's really going to be it in terms of thunder. Elsewhere, we're not expecting any severe weather, let alone thunder at all for that matter. I did mention temperatures, and I want to spend at least a minute or so mentioning some of that. It's cool today. Temps will get up into the low to mid 70s. Maybe we'll sneak out an 80, across the Sandhills or southern coastal plain. Watch what happens as we go forward through the week. This is today's high temperature forecast. Tomorrow will be a little bit warmer. By the time we get to Wednesday, it'll be a little bit warmer than that. And you'll see we start to just stair step up. We add about 2 or 3 degrees every day. We're getting late in the week here. We've got widespread mid to upper 80s. Now we've got low 90s creeping into the forecast for Sunday. And by the time we get to, the back half of the weekend here, mid 90s, it's going to be a pretty warm stretch here. I suppose the only saving grace in all of this is the fact that the humidity won't be through the roof. It gets hot in North Carolina this time of year. Everybody knows that. And it tends to get pretty humid too, but we're not going to be looking at, tremendously humid conditions quite yet. I'm sure they're coming. They come every year, but at least for the next week, it'll be hot, but perhaps not as humid as it could be. And then that trend actually looks like it's going to continue into next week as well. Climate Prediction Center, 8 to 14 day temperature and precip outlooks, heavily skewed toward above normal temperatures, and also slightly skewed toward below normal precip. So if you are a fan of warm temps and dry conditions, this is the briefing for you. If you're looking for a little bit of rain, unfortunately, I don't exactly have good news to share. So we're in it for a while, folks. All right, so summarizing, like I'd mentioned, there were a few showers earlier today. We'll see a little bit redevelop this afternoon, mainly across the Northwest Piedmont. We'll essentially rinse and repeat that tomorrow. with a few showers and maybe some sprinkles here and there, but nothing in the way of, severe weather. A rumble or two of thunder, sure, absolutely, but nothing severe. Certainly no flooding concerns or anything like that. It will be warmer and drier starting on Wednesday, and then that trend is going to continue really through the weekend into next week as well. I didn't elaborate on this too much, but certainly, with temperatures creeping upward, heat-related illnesses could be, a factor for those that aren't quite acclimated, or just haven't, gotten used to the warm temperatures. Like I said, this will be the warmest stretch we will have had so far this year. So if you do have to be out, use stay hydrated, use good common sense in terms of, avoiding the hot times of the day, and yeah, do your best to stay cool.